Dear learners, welcome to the next session of Physical Pharmaceutics where we are going to study about phase rules. Before dealing with phase rule, let me introduce you to the system what we are referring as heterogeneous system or polyphasic systems. So these systems are nothing but your chemical systems where you are having two or more phases in equilibrium. Say for example, I am preparing a solution of sodium chloride. So as to prepare that sodium chloride solution, I need two ingredients. Your sodium chloride is the first one, which is existing in solid phase, and your solvent, for example water, that is existing in liquid phase. But as we have seen in case of solubility of gas in liquid, then you are quite aware that though we are forming a solution, the space which is the volume which is not occupied by either solid or liquid is occupied your gaseous phase. So we are saying that in the case of heterogeneous or polyphasic systems, you are having number of phases. So this phase rule is able to predict the conditions necessary for the heterogeneous system to exhibit equilibrium between the phases. And so as to study the phase rule, in this session we will have the concept of phase rule, the various applications of phase rule. So the reduced phase rule and extended phase rule, phase diagram, and how the presence of that individual component is responsible to classify your system as one component system, two component system, or three component system. So starting with phase rule, the concept of phase rule was given in 1875 by J.W. Gibbs, and the work done by J.W. Gibbs is further studied by J.W.B. Roseboom in 1884. The concept of phase rule, which was generalized by Gibbs, is able to predict qualitatively. And to predict that behavior of phases either in equilibrium or not, that is by means of the diagram. So the effect of changing temperature, pressure, or concentration on heterogeneous system in equilibrium is given by your phase rule. So phase rule is the device that relates the effect of least number of variable species. For example, as I quoted you the solution of NaCl, then you are having NaCl as the individual species, H2O as the second species. So the effect of the relates of least number of variable species upon various phases that can exist in equilibrium system containing given number of component is mathematically given by Gibbs phase rule, which says that F is equal to C minus P plus 2, where the C stands for number of components, P stands for number of phases, and F stands for degree of freedom. So first of all, we will see what is mean by phase, what is mean by component, and what is mean by degree of freedom. First of all, let me make you aware about the concept of C, that is your number of components. Say number of component is the independent variable constituent, and this C or the number of component is expressed directly or in the form of a chemical equation. For example, I will quote you example of H2O. Everybody is quite aware that H2O is the molecular formula for water. But the same H2O can exist in ice form, that is solid, can exist in water form, that is your liquid, and that may lead to vapor form, that is your gaseous phase. So the H2O is the least number of variable which can exist in various forms. So that is your component C, the least number of variable or smallest number of constituent by which composition of each phase can be expressed. The next is your F, that is degree of freedom. So the degree of freedom is the least number of intensive properties. Now your component, that is your H2O, can exist in solid form, liquid form and gaseous form. But so as to convert it from ice to liquid water or from water to water vapor, there are some of the properties which are having impact on that. So what kind of properties that are? That may be your temperature, that may be your pressure, and in some cases concentration and density. So the smallest number of independently variable factor which is required to define the order of system is called as degree of freedom. So the by means of calculation, the numericals that has been generated for the degree of freedom may be 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. So if that f is equal to 0, your system is called as non-variant system, or that is also called as invariant system. But at the same time, if f is equal to 1, then your system is monovariant, or you can say that is your univariant system, and you will go so on. For f is equal to 2, that will be bivariant, f is equal to 3 trivariant, f is equal to 4 tetravariant, likewise. So that will be your degree of freedom. And the important factor for the phase rule is your p, that is number of phases. So what is that number of phase? You are quite aware about phase, that is nothing but your thermodynamical, chemical and physically uniform quantity of matter that may reside in solid form, liquid form or gaseous form. So P is physically distinct portion of a system that can be separated from other properties. So this is your phase rule. So where you are going to apply this phase rule? There are various fields where you can apply this phase rule, but as far as pharmaceutics is concerned, you are having various aspects of formulation and thereby related processes. So the diagram on your display gives you idea in which field you can use phase diagram. You can use it in formulation of emulsion, in formulation of micro or nanoparticles. You can generate solid dispersions, and you may study the phase behavior of different components like your solid to liquid, liquid to gases and likewise. But the same phase rule can be reduced, or that phase rule can be extended. So what is your reduced phase rule or what is your extended phase rule? Now see, in the case of some of the systems, the equilibrium may exist between your solid and liquid phase. So when the system has solid and liquid in equilibrium, in those cases gaseous phase is practically absent, and thereby the constancy of any one of the variable reduces the phase rule to the equation f is equal to c minus p plus 1. The initial phase rule was f is equal to c minus p plus 2, and the reduced phase rule is f is equal to c minus p plus 1. Why is it so? Because at this point it is necessary to take into account only two variables, and the two variables are temperature and concentration. Here pressure is negligible because there is equilibrium between solid and liquid. Such kind of systems are also known as condensed systems, and the phase rule applied for this system is given as f is equal to c minus p plus 1. In the same case, when you are having phase rule as f is equal to c minus p plus x, now in the case of phase rule that was your 2, in the case of reduced phase rule that was your 1, and in case of extended phase rule that is your x. So this x is the number of intensive variables. Till now we have seen regarding pressure, temperature, composition and density, but there are possibly magnetic and electric fields which can result into change independently without loss of a phase. So in that case, this x is the possible magnetic and electric field that can change independently. But the important case is you are having variables like pressure, temperature and concentration do existing into the system. So when you are representing the phase rule graphically, giving the condition of pressure and temperature under which the various phases are existing and transforming from one phase to another phase. Means what happens that you need to convert solid into liquid or liquid into gas, or you may convert that solid directly into gas, that is your sublimation. So in that case you need to apply some kind of pressure and temperature. So the condition of that change in pressure and temperature resulting into transformation of phases is given by phase diagram, and this phase diagram has some kind of areas, curves, lines and points engulfed within them. Depending upon the components present in system, the phase diagrams are classified for the one component system and for two component systems. For the sake of liquids, we have seen that liquids may be your completely miscible, that may be your immiscible, or that may be your partial miscible one. So you can draw that phase diagrams for the two component system when they are not reacting with one another and when they are reacting with one another. Let's see one by one. The first one is your one component system. For the explanation of one component system, let me tell you the example of water molecule. Why you are terming water as a one component system? Because though it is existing in any form, either solid, liquid or gas, the molecular formula for the water will remain same, and that is your H2O. Now see, as I stated earlier, for the phase diagram, you need to change pressure and temperature. So now, this is the phase diagram for one component system. Here you are observing three different lines, three different colors, three different areas. But the point is, the everything is the by means of alteration of pressure and temperature, and thus pressure and temperatures are plotted accordingly. Now, initially, at this point here, you are having zero temperature and zero pressure, and systemically you are increasing temperature and you are systematically increasing pressure. So with the change in pressure and temperature, you will observe that there is effect of pressure and temperature on the water molecule, right? So here the red line indicates that there is change in pressure and temperature which will result into conversion. So the point, this one, where both the solid, all the solid, liquid and gases are in equilibrium, this point is known as triple point. And as you are proceeding away from triple point, your material, that is in your either solid phase or your liquid phase, that will transform into the second one. So the first case, in the first case, the simplest phase diagram is your pressure temperature diagram. So where the three lines of equilibrium or phase boundaries between the three phases of solid, liquid and gas. The dotted line in this diagram gives you the anomalous behavior of water. The green line marks the freezing point. The blue line in the figure is the boiling point line, showing how you vary or how boiling point varies with the pressure. The critical point marked over there is the set of condition under which a liquid and its vapors becomes identical. So if temperature exists above the critical point, then it is quite impossible to convert that vapor into your liquid form. So as to have the impact, you must maintain your temperature below critical temperature. So at critical point, you will observe end point of the phase equilibrium curve. That is the critical pressure and critical temperature. At this point, because of this critical pressure and critical temperature, there is no phase boundary. The study of critical phenomenon is directed towards describing the various types of behavior near the critical points. So this is the phase diagram for one component system which elaborates the phase behavior. Now the second is your two component system. But for the sake of two component system, there are two conditions. The first condition is regarding miscible materials and second is regarding immiscible or partially miscible liquids. So at the start we will deal with two partially miscible materials. So for the sake of two component system, when we are dealing with partially miscible systems, at that point of time you need to focus on two variables, that is your temperature and mole fraction. So when you are plotting this temperature and mole fraction against one another, you will observe this kind of scenario. The parabolic curve will give you two regions, the single phase region and the two phase region, and the maximum highest point, this point will give you the maximum temperature at which two immiscible liquids become miscible to form a single homogeneous layer, and this is known as critical solution temperature. The maximum temperature, and so as to understand the concept, let me show you the example of partially miscible liquid systems. Here you are having example of phenol water. So the phase diagram for phenol water system is displayed on your display, where you are having two variables, temperature and mole fraction, that is phenol in water, that is percent by weight. So as you are mixing these two, phenol in water, with the application of temperature, then you will observe that the A, B, D, E, F, C likewise. In the initial one, you was having either phenol or water. Initially we will say that you were having water. Now toward the line from A to C, as you are pouring some drops of phenol, then what will happen? Will tend to become immiscible with one another. So phenol and water are initially immiscible with one another, but here you are having effect of temperature. So by means of that temperature, the phenol and water will get miscible, or we can say that they are partially miscible under the influence of temperature. So the point H on the curve shows you that at this point your system becomes miscible one. So this is the maximum temperature, or this is the highest temperature at which two liquids become miscible, and this temperature is called as upper consolute temperature. Whereas the lowest temperature for the same phenomenon is called as lower consolute temperature. So the critical solution temperature gives you single homogeneous layer. The temperature at which you are getting that single homogeneous layer is your critical solution temperature, and the highest and lowest temperature at which these two liquid becomes miscible are known as upper consolute temperature and lower consolute temperature. At any temperature above the critical solution temperature, partially miscible liquids are miscible in all the proportions, and you can have single layer over there. So here you can observe the phase diagram for partially miscible liquid systems. Now in the same way, when it comes about miscible systems, for example, you are having eutectic mixtures. What is meant by eutectic mixture? These are the two solid materials which are upon mixing may convert into, or they may form a liquid material. So for such kind of compounds, the phase diagram will look like this. Here you are having again temperature and composition as the two variables. Now see, initially I am having solid A and solid B. Now as I am mixing them, both the solid and liquid may maintain their integrity in respective phases, and there where you will have two component system, you having solid A, solid B. Both are having two different molecular formulas and they are two separated by means of boundary lines. That's why here you are having two phases and two components when you are mixing solid A and solid B. Now from A to B, as you tend to increase concentration of B, then what will happen? The addition of these two at some point will result into conversion of one solid into the second liquid. So initially, suppose you are pouring B into A, so A will remain as a solid one and B will try to lose its internal arrangement so as to convert its solid form into liquid form. And same with A when you are increasing proportion of solid B. As you are increasing proportion of solid B, the lowest composition will convert into liquid form. But at a particular point, at a respective temperature where the substance A melts and at the second temperature substance B melts, so the mixing of these two will form a miscible system in the liquid form. So the temperature at which you are forming a eutectic mixture is known as eutectic temperature. So this will be the phase diagram for two component system, but if the components are miscible in one another. Now the next is your three component system. In the case of three component system, there are usual methods. The first usual method, the phase diagram grid method, and the second one is your altitude method. The first one is phase diagram grid method and the second one is altitude method. Now the phase diagram for three component system is appears in a triangular form. Why you are referring them as a triangular form? Because you are having three components over here. Suppose you are having component A, component B and component C. There are quite some rules about the ternary phase diagram or the phase diagram for three component system. The first rule is at the corner of triangle, the concentration of every component is to the highest one, that is 100%, and that is in terms of weight only. The diagram shows you the concentration at the corners. You are having concentration, but the concentrations are in terms of weight. So if here you are saying that A is 100%, then obviously your B is 0% and your C is again 0%. So here you are having A 100%, here you are having B 100%, and here you are having C as 100%. So the now three lines that are joining AB, BC and AC, joining the vertex point represents that on this line you are having combination of A, B and C. So it will give you binary mixture, that may be mixture of A with B, A with C, B with C and B with A likewise. So now by dividing each line with 100 equal segments, you can locate the point along the line which can be directly related to the percent concentration. As shown in your diagram, you are having red line and blue line. Now suppose this red line indicates that the solution or the mixture you are forming, either you are moving from A to B or you are moving from B to C or you are moving from C to A. So the change in concentration within the triangle is marked by the means of the lines which indicates the percent concentration of the respective components in your binary system. Now the next is in going along the edge of triangle in order to represent the concentration. The lines these are representing the concentration. It won't matters that either you are going clockwise or you are going anti-clockwise direction, because though you are going by any ways clockwise or anti-clockwise, you are providing with the constant one. For example, for the side AB, if we are focusing on the side AB and we are moving from A to B, that is, we are moving in the direction of B, then it signifies that the blue line signifies that a binary system of A and B having increasing concentration of B, that is from 0 to 100, because when A is 100%, then obviously your B is 0 and C is 0, and the same for the B and C. The region inside the triangle, the smallest triangles you are observing within the triangle, symbolizes that the all possible combinations of A, B and C. So the combination will give you three component mixture, or you can say them as a ternary mixture. So this was about phase rule and the component systems. Thank you.